Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. That was a combination woof moo. Moo woof. G. Okay, that was just the cow. Feet prints of the cow. I'm very suspicious. I'm not very suspicious. I'm very... What's the word I'm looking for? Paranoid? It's the creepers and the mobs who are suspicious. Suspicious of things, but the one thing we're suspicious of is continuing to walk to the far lands. That was a terrible segue. Continuing to walk to the far lands here in Far Lands or Bust. This is episode 378. It is Tuesday, July 15th, 2014. Tuesday because if you follow me on Twitter, you know why, but I've decided to go with a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday schedule for Far Lands or Bust this week because, as you may be aware, if you're also watching Mindcrack UHC Season 17 Ultra Hardcore, we do that every other day, and sometimes it falls on my Far Lands or Bust days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I don't feel like competing with it with Far Lands or Bust, so I've shifted the Far Lands or Bust schedule this week to accommodate and let that cycle through. So that's why we're doing a Tuesday episode here today. So surprise! I don't know if it's a surprise or not. I'm not sure if there are people who... I only watch YouTube on Mondays or Tuesdays, and you miss Far Lands or Bust, or say, oh, I've never seen Far Lands or Bust because I only watch YouTube on Tuesdays. Welcome. You only have 377 episodes to catch up on before you can actually start watching this one. Just kidding. You can pick up the series at any time you want. However, I do have news that those of you who picked up on the series today picked up on the series right as we passed. I just checked before starting this. We just passed 13,000 megabytes in the world save size, and that's pretty crazy. Not exactly 13 gigabytes. I know people are going to be incredibly pedantic and saying blah 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 64-bit, 32-bit, 8-bit memory blah doesn't exactly mean 13,000 on the dot, but we just passed. We're at like 13,017 point something megabytes, according to the Minecraft save list when I load up the game and load up the world here. So interesting stuff to keep track of. Very interesting indeed. And other interesting numbers include that which we are raising money for Child's Play charity over at farlandsorbust.com. This is, after all, a walk-a-thon to the Far Lands, fundraising for Child's Play charity ever since June 2011. And this season, Season 5, we are up to $6,845.07. Got a lot of good donations over the weekend. I do appreciate that. I do like seeing that we get the occasional surges over the past few weeks of donations. So I feel like that must mean I'm doing something right, or you guys are inspired to donate to Child's Play charity to help get toys, books, games to kids in hospitals around the world. You can learn more about Child's Play charity at childsplaycharity.org, conveniently enough. And there you will see on the homepage, if it's still on the homepage, I should check, they have little sponsors on the bottom, platinum and golden and whatever sponsors, and Far Lands or Bust. You will see the Far Lands or Bust logo listed in the sponsors, and that is thanks to you guys, having donated over the years over $275,000 over the years, and that's how Far Lands or Bust has attained that sponsorship status, and always thanks to the Child's Play charity folks for supporting Far Lands or Bust, and all the gaming marathons and fundraisers and things and stuff like that. So that's very cool indeed. Speaking of such things that are not so cool, is that a little bit of news from the interwebs and throughout, is that apparently this summer is the summer of failures of internet conventions. I was, of course, talking about Minorama, which we could fairly quickly deduce and conclude was indeed a money-making scheme, a scamorama, as it's being referred to. Let's pick up some more supplies here, some wood from this tree. Thank you, provider of planks, for providing those said planks. I also need, let's get some, I just passed up a whole bunch of sheep. Let's get some wool while we're at it as well. But yeah, Minorama, those people have conveniently disappeared off the face of the earth, as it would so seem, at least off the face of the internet. They said they were going to have some Q&A session live on like a Twitch channel. That never happened. They said they're going to have some sort of meeting this week to give updates, and that's not happened. And their Twitter and elsewhere and website have pretty much been in a status of non-updatedness. And actually, over the weekend that it was supposed to happen, was this past weekend or was it the weekend before? There was, anyway, the YouTubers who were out there in New York were able to, it seems, band together and put on at least a one-day, what they called U-Cube meetup to help out those disposed, I suppose is the word for it, by the Minorama catastrophe. And they held and threw together in a matter of days, and I believe at their own expense. I'm not sure at whose expense or where the money came from, but they held a meetup, a gathering for those people who had tickets to Minorama, but obviously, since it wasn't happening, could no longer go anywhere, and had like panels and a little bit of a meet and greet and things. So that's, I suppose, something good that came out of it, but something that should not have been necessary regardless. But anyway, I go on to speak of now. News is making the rounds of a Tumblr convention that took place in the suburbs of Chicago, where I am located. I had no idea about this until after the fact that I've seen all these things on the internet talking about this failure, this disappointment of a Tumblr convention called DashCon, I suppose after the dashboard, the Tumblr dashboard. I think that's probably what it's after. It's supposed to be a collection of Tumblr fandoms, hashtags, buzzwords that you young whippersnappers are using on the internet these days. And again, it seemed to have... This one actually happened, and this one actually seemed like the people were trying to hold a convention. They just had zero experience, and the thing basically they took off and forgot to put fuel in the plane, and it crashed and burned, and just really low attendance and just really bare bones, empty rooms in this this hotel, this meeting place. And the major thing that happened is there were, I suppose, celebrities, pseudo celebrities, internet celebrities, artists, musicians, personalities who were booked to show up, but then, and I'm sure they signed contracts that said that this convention was going to reimburse them and pay them, and turns out that those things fell through, so those guests didn't show up, as I wouldn't either if part of the deal was to have been reimbursed for travel or booking expenses and whatnot that fell through and were unable to happen. So that was a problem, and that one just seems like, and you can read articles about it online and elsewhere, and that one just seems like a failure of any experience or planning. It seems like a lot of people are trying to get conventions going and working, perhaps because they can't get into the more, you can't get into PAX, they sell out, or I know a lot of people, there was a minor rustling of jimmies that came about because of Minecon only has so many tickets, and they sell out like that, and people are upset about that, so they're like, well, if I can't go to these big conventions, I'll make my own, or I'll check out and look at this one that's just starting this year, even though it's being run by people who have zero experience or have never been heard of in the convention-going communities. So basically, watch what you're doing. Watch out for yourself and others. Just because conventions go off without a hitch in the past, it's usually because they have experience and it has been done many, many, many years. Like your PAXs and like I said, even Minecon can be questionable at times as to whether or not that's run great, but at least it actually happens, and the things they say they're going to do end up doing. So just yeah, it's not that big a deal, people. I mean, I know that's kind of the buzz thing is the conventions, but don't put your neck out on a line for some random convention or get together or meetup. Just enjoy your time on the internet. This is where we're all comfortable. This is where we're used to interacting with each other. Let's just keep it here. But anyway, just wanted to mention that too, because I'm like, oh, another one? Oh, Lord. But anyway, we'll continue walking, and let me start answering some questions and talking about other things here in Farlands Bust in the morning. And what was that watery noise? I heard flowing water. Did you use the restroom here, Wolfie? Did you have to take a leak? Indeed. But anyway, I did have a question from somebody in the comments of the last video. Elite Wizard 946 says and asks, since you're into racing games so much, why don't you play Mario Kart 8? First of all, that's a console game. I don't own the consoles. I don't own the latest Nintendo thingamabob, whatever it is. And I don't have any means to record console stuff. I've said many times this is a PC gaming channel, so really you can only expect PC video games. I know sometimes in the one-off games or little reviews or previews of early access games, I'll often have to say in the comments or in the video that this is the PC version of the game I'm playing. Same with Grid and other games like that, because just get used to it. This is PC games only. And some people will say, "Well, why aren't you giving console games a chance?" It's not that I'm not giving them a chance. It's that I don't have the equipment and I don't care to either. I'm focused like a laser beam on what I'm doing here, and it's how I know to record and render and upload and play. So deal with it. Secondly, I am not a big fan, and I wouldn't be into supporting Nintendo or their products, since they go out of their way to not support us as in YouTubers, us as in Let's Players. They actually go out of their way to say that they dislike us, and they do not believe in what we're doing as either, the simple act of sharing gameplay videos online to the more advanced stage that I and others are at of actually making a career out of it. They've gone out of their way to say that, what we're doing they don't like, and are willing to take both legal and monetary action against us. So I don't see any reason why I would ever want to support or endorse any of their products for that simple fact alone. So if I was to ever do console gaming, certainly Nintendo wouldn't even be on the list. Not even on the bottom of the list, just not on the list at all. First of all. Second of all, it's just even for leisure, for the old principle of the fact I wouldn't purchase a Nintendo product. So boosh indeed is what I have to say to that. Just where I stand on the situation. I don't take that many stands, especially in regards to, some people like canceled their Oculus Rift pre-orders because they were bought out by Facebook, and some people did this, that, or the other. But it's one of those things where, okay, this organization, this company has taken direct aim at the thing that I do both for a living and both that I love to do, and I've been a fan of and a supporter of other Let's Players, and just the entire ecosystem we've created here, that this company decides to just poop all over it, so I will poop all over them and say screw you. So yeah, that's I'm not ever playing Mario Kart ever. So thank you for the question. And I know, yes, I am into racing games, but there are plenty of other racing games that I have yet to try, much like Super Toy Racers. We've got to give them all a chance here on the PC before we even consider remotely the console versions. I mean, that's another reason why you're never going to see Forza on my channel, is because I don't, not an Xbox person. Same thing with Gran Turismo. People say I should play Gran Turismo. Well, if they bring it to the PC, sure, why not? I'll give it a try, but otherwise, nope. Not gonna do it. It wouldn't be prudent. So yeah, that was a question from the comments, but let me get to some questions from the donors. Donors to Child's Play Charity can leave a comment, and in there a question that I'll try to get to in an episode. This one from Stucky. Stucky asks, what brand of electronics do you typically purchase? I suppose this is kind of along the lines of the whole Nintendo things. Obviously, I do not buy Nintendo electronics. I'm not sure. I don't really have that much significant, like, specific brand loyalty. I own a Samsung TV. That just comes from looking at reviews and, I got a good deal on it 3 or 4 years ago. I think, what is it, like a 42-inch standard LCD TV. It's not even LED or anything, or plasma. This was, before a lot of the fancy stuff. It is a hundred and, what is it? It's a higher, the double the frame hertz or whatever, a high hertz. So it's not 60. Is it 140? I think it's probably 140 hertz. Not that much content is delivered there, but it makes for smoother video if I do want to use that upscaling technique and stuff like that. So I own that. I own a Sony Blu-ray player, but only after my Toshiba DVD player crapped out. And I had that Toshiba for well over 10 years. It was my first and only DVD player I ever owned. I got it after I graduated high school in 2000. So yeah, I had that for 12 years or so, and it seemed to function fine. The disc tray just wouldn't whatever the little actuator, I'm sure, was part of the disc tray. Excuse me? I beg your pardon? What did you call me? No, disc tray didn't, the one moving part in the entire system failed after 12 years. So yeah, I got a Sony one. It was refurbished. It was from Woot. Not particularly been happy with it. It's got, Netflix and the apps on there, but it's pretty crummy and gets a lot slower performance of Netflix and the apps than it would on the computer that I have hooked up to my TV in the living room. I've had very good luck with, I'm just looking at, like, if I'm looking at a certain type of electronic, what brand do I normally go for? Monitors, computer monitors, Dell. For whatever reason, I've had extremely good luck with Dell. I have one of the older ultra sharp 24-inch, very expensive, and they're very good for, like I've always said, in my past life as a graphic and web designer, the Dell ultra sharp, the IPS displays, expensive but very well worth it. Whenever I use somebody else's normal TN panel, I'm like, ugh, you're like missing 1 or 2 billion colors here. This is all washed out and gross. And I've had good luck with their customer service as well. There was a problem with the earlier model of these panels that I had, and I'm like, I'm having this problem intermittently as well. And they're like, okay, here. They just sent me they sent me a brand new panel before I even sent the other one back, and they're like, just use the same box to send the old one back if this one works better. I'm like, oh, okay. So I've had good luck with Dell. I have 2 Dell monitors, and you can get them at pretty decent prices, and they last a long time. As far as my own personal experience has been. Other electronics. Yeah, I haven't been around with the cell phones long enough to really found a specific cell phone maker. I mean, I think LG is the one who made the Nexus 4, which I have. I have no allegiance to LG or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, Samsung, good TVs. Dell, I'm sure they have Samsung panels in the Dells. Only a few companies actually make the panels. It's just they're they end up being packaged and put together and branded in different companies. Trying to think if there's anything else specific. No, not really. I mean, I really can't say. You know, I tend to buy things that last a while, so I don't have to replace them. So yeah. Those are really the only electronics I own. I don't. Yeah, I suppose if I have a little Dell laptop from a while ago. If I was to buy a laptop, I would look towards Toshiba. I hear that they're all right. Or Lenovo laptops seem to have nice. I look for reliability versus features. Perhaps that's why I'm looking into a Subaru for my next vehicle if I'm ever able to afford it. But because Subaru is very well known for not being aesthetically pleasing or having that many bells and whistles, but they are known for being very safe and very reliable. Because of that, I've noticed, I'm looking at, okay, maybe instead of getting a brand new Subaru, maybe I'll find a used one. I'm like, geez, all the used ones are about as expensive as the new ones, and that's a good bad thing. A bad thing because I can't afford even to buy a used one, but a good thing is if I ever am able to afford a used or new one, at least it will maintain its value. It seems anyway. Wolfie, where you at? There you are. All right. So yeah, thanks for that. That's a different question. That is a question I have not gotten before. But I hope these endorsements are my own. They are not paid for or by advertisements or anything like that. These are just simple little endorsements of the things that I use. Oh, I have if you're going to look for a scanner, which most people don't do scanners anymore, I have this Epson scanner. Again, I've had this since college, well over 10 years. Great scanner. But, as a graphic designer, Epson is kind of the scanners to go for. But anyway, woo, look at that area we kind of missed out on. That's a shame. Let's go to sleep and continue in the morning. And a missed opportunity at some epic landscapeness. That's a shame. But that is the nature. Ow! The nature of Far Lands or Bust is that we are traveling along this path, and oftentimes if we zig when we could have zagged, or zog when we could have zigged, we miss out on certain aspects of the terrain that we will never ever see again. Oops, I did not mean to take the bone with me. Any other useful skeleton residue? Nope. Actually, speaking of bones, let's Wolfie took a fall back there. Let's give him a pork chop bone. Bleh. I'm out of practice. I missed my Monday of Far Lands or Bust, and now I forgot how to Far Lands or Bust. Speaking of Far Lands or Bust, segue, I got a few series of questions from a few donors about Far Lands or Bust, specifically from Nex. Have you ever pressed F3 by accident? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I have not. If yes, when? What did you do? Blah, 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 blah. What do you do to prevent this? I avoid pressing F3. So much to where I forget to press F3 in certain situations, like when I'm playing on a different server or playing a different... Oh, hello, Disco Pig. He was like in and out of my view, so he like was there and wasn't there. That was weird. Receive a Wolfie. So yeah, you'll notice in UHC or on servers and stuff like that, or other Minecraft series, I forget that I can press F3 to find out where I am or in what terrain or biome I'm in. So I'm like, oh yeah, I need that information. What button do I press? So yeah, it's pretty much out of sight, out of mind for me there. Number 2 from Nex. Did you ever have to restart a recording? Yes, I have. For those of you who are kind of new to the series, that's happened 2 or 3 times in the past. Recently, it's happened because when I got my new audio recording hardware here, I forgot to switch some settings and it didn't record the audio, so I had to start over once. I mentioned that. I mentioned it every single time. The first and most famous time was that I was sick when recording an episode. and listening back to it, thought it was terrible, terrible quality. So I decided to then wait. This is before I had a set schedule or anything. It was before I was even doing this for a full-time gig. So it was before that even. And I was sick. I'm like, you know what? I'll take a couple days to get better, to get my voice back, and then I'll record this episode over again. Unfortunately, what I did was I restored from the backup, but I forgot to delete the save file in the Minecraft save. So instead of replacing, I overwrote. And what happens then is that the chunks that were rendered previously remain rendered and existent in the world. And that is where we first accidentally stumbled upon the hidey hole paradox. I by some random luck, stupid luck, just random randomness, I ended up, after traveling the 3 days, ended up in the same exact area that I had when I first recorded and failed the episode when I was sick, and I found a hidey hole I had dug. Since I didn't overwrite, since I didn't replace, I overwrote the hidey holes, and everything I had done thus far was still there. And I was genuinely confused. It had been a couple days, so I forgot the area and the hidey hole I built at the end of the previous attempt. I just came across a duplicate Wolfie and a torch and a hidey hole, and I did play it up. After I recorded, I had figured out what I had done wrong, and I played it up by adding a bunch of spooky music and making it a very interesting little storyline. And people were speculating and freaking out. They thought it was going to end up being some Shadow of Viscerfell thing where I end up inviting other people to play or try to create some sort of scripted storyline, and it was none of that. It was just that I kind of derped up re-recording an episode. So now that I know that happens, I make sure not to let it happen again if I ever am in need of re-recording an episode. And I mention it if I do, and I try to specifically take a different path just to make sure. And it's usually in those regards either technical difficulty or simply an issue of bad recording. And I don't like to do it because all of these Far Lands of Bust episodes are live commentary and off the cuff. I have my notes and I follow the questions, but I don't generally have my answers written out. This is all just me talking. Walking and talking is basically what Far Lands of Bust is. So I don't like doing that, because then the second recording attempt, I'll try to remember what I said before, and it'll be a little bit more pre-rehearsed because I've already said something once. But otherwise, yeah, these are all, I think it's only happened 3, maybe 4 times, but it was recently that I mentioned when I got the new audio recording equipment that I had to re-record. I give it as a preface, a little warning ahead of time. Oops, this is the second time I'm recording this episode. And I made sure to delete the new chunks and reload from a backup. But yeah, that's a question that I get sometimes. Next continues asking, Etho is playing Terra Firmacraft at the moment, and it looks so much fun. Are you thinking about doing a Let's Play for this? I've answered this recently. I don't have a problem with modded Minecraft. The only problem I have is that I'm not into it as much to be able to make an entire Let's Play about it. And I haven't honestly even watched any of Etho's Let's Play of that to even know what's involved in that. Maybe eventually I'll try out some sort of Minecraft mod, but at this time I'm concentrating on Far Lands. This is almost a mod in and of itself. I'm playing in Minecraft Beta 173. A lot of you guys are asking, well, why, the texture pack, why is his sword so blue? Why does he not have the hunger bar? Why doesn't he have to eat all the time? Where's Wolfie? Oh, God. Oh, there he is. Yep, okay, going this way. Why can't he just sprint there? Blah, 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 blah. So, this in and of itself has kind of become its own non-vanilla Minecraft series. So yeah, thanks for those questions and the donation. Similarly, I got questions from somebody who goes by Hell's Blazes. Good username. You picked that up early, I suppose. But Hell's Blazes asks, what steps have you taken to ensure that the Far Lands of Bust world is not lost forever? Do you use some sort of off-site backup? blah, 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 or something in case of a computer crash or some other failure. Yes. After every episode, I back up a unique version of the game, both locally. I have a separate from my system. I have a kind of a local network attached storage system here. And then also, I have nightly, I use CrashPlan. CrashPlan is an off-site subscription backup service. So CrashPlan gets backed up, my Farlands or Bust save, and now since I lost progress that one glitchy time we lost progress with Kerbal Space Program, now my Kerbal Space Program saves are also going to CrashPlan, to the cloud, so that is just in case, obviously I have my hard drive in my computer, the actual save. I have the hard drives in the other room, which is where my network storage is. And then, if the place were to burn down, or a tornado, or theft, or a burglary, if I was ever to be burgled, I at least also have the cloud backup, and that's also for all the work, the artwork, the websites, the stuff I've done with Farlands or Bust, even my own personal files and things like that. Wolfie? Where's Wolfie? There he is. All right. That was kind of a long boat trip. I was a little bit afraid he wouldn't spawn, but here he is. Wolfie's fine. I do have the off-site backup as the third layer, hopefully, of protection. So yeah, I suppose, kind of going back, what brand of electronics do you recommend, or do you typically purchase? I would recommend CrashPlan. I would recommend CrashPlan if you're looking for off-site backup. It's very cool to have unlimited off-site backup for a monthly fee. They have different packages. You can go check them out. That again is not a paid for or any sort of reimbursed endorsement. I'm just saying off the cuff what I recommend. Hell's Blazes also asks about what's your wish list for the game's spin tires. I would wish it to be more of a game, honestly. I would also wish it to have more friendly game-like interface. Like I recently, for those of you not watching the series, I recently finished a map. Like you can complete a map, you can complete the objectives of a map. Turns out that it just like deletes that map for you, like all your progress. So you better not want to have stuck around and just to play around in the map you've just completed, because it deletes. It's like, nope, you're done with that map. You must want to start another map. Delete. Being able to play two maps at the same time, have two separate saves. Minecraft here back in the beta and the alpha days here at least gave you 5 save slots to save your games. To have more than one save, to be able to, the multiplayer needs a huge overhaul, obviously, to be able to save your multiplayer game, because that's something when you're playing. Oh no. Are we okay here? We might be okay here. We're just going to have the auditory stylings of some zombies, what might be a zombie spawner in the distance. Probably just a cave, but I hope we are protected enough that they won't spawn in here. Oh, I guess I'm picking up some iron. Whoops. Yeah, they seem far enough away. Let me... Oh, I need torches. Torches, 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 Kurt. Torches, torches, torches. I need some torches. Yeah, let's make this extra bright in here. Now I've got to be able to sleep. So yeah, I've mentioned time and time again, if you watch Spin Tires, you know exactly what I'm asking for from Spin Tires, as I mention it over and over again, much to the chagrin of people who, for whatever reason, feel the need to blindly defend the developers. I never really understood that, I suppose. It's are you financially invested in the game? Do you have something to lose if somebody criticizes the game? I think it's a great engine. These people are obviously very good at creating an engine for a game, and the physics and the artwork and the models of the trucks and the world and the effects. They just maybe aren't so great at making a game out of it. And I know I've had the discussion, what is a game? Is it this? Is it Proteus? Is it Mountain? Does there need to be this, that, or the other? But when in fact your game is a game, there seems to be some lacking in in ability to handle certain aspects of just simple, save my game. I would like to have multiple saves of the game. I would like to be able to restart a multiplayer game. Stuff like that. They might need some help on, but anyway, that's not much of our concern in this series because this is Farlands or Bust. This is episode 378, and you can keep going to Child's Play. You can keep going to Farlands or Bust. To donate to Child's Play charity, farlandsorbust.com. That is, and that would be much appreciated to keep this ongoing upward trend of donations, of helping out kids in need in hospitals around the world. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your dealing with this off week, this kind of Tuesday shifted schedule for Farlands or Bust. I hope it works out, and I look forward to getting back to normal once the schedule shifts back again. Woof! Wolfie is too. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Kurt. I hope no zombies spawn here. I will see you next time!